I was standing in the driveway of the house I'd paid for when my mother said the words that changed everything. "You're not family anymore, Claire. We're done with you." Just like that. 28 years reduced to a single sentence, delivered with the same tone she'd used to dismiss a door-to-door salesman. My father stood behind her on the porch, my porch, the one I'd had rebuilt 2 summers ago, and he wouldn't even look at me. Honestly, part of me had been expecting it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to 6 years ago, when I got my first real job out of college. Marketing position at a tech firm in Seattle, decent salary, benefits, the whole package. I remember calling my parents so excited I could barely get the words out. Mom's response? "That's nice, honey. Listen, the roof is leaking again. Do you think you could help us out?" I sent them $1,500 that week. Looking back, that should have been my first clue. Not congratulations, not "we're proud of you," just the roof. But they were my parents, and my younger brother Ryan was still in college, art school, expensive as hell, so I figured they were just stretched thin. I started sending money regularly, 500 here, 1,000 there. When the furnace died in the middle of January, I bought them a new one. When Dad's truck broke down, I covered the repairs. Then I paid off their credit card debt, almost $20,000. They said it was medical bills from when Ryan had his appendix out. I didn't even think to ask for receipts. Mom would call me every Sunday. We'd chat about my week, my job, whether I was seeing anyone. It felt normal, loving even. Though now I realize she always ended those calls the same way. "You're such a blessing to this family, Claire. We don't know what we'd do without you." Without me. Not with me. Without me. The thing about being the dependable child is that you don't notice when dependable becomes disposable. You just keep showing up, keep giving, keep trying to earn a place you thought was already yours. Ryan graduated and moved back home, just until I gets on my feet, they said. I sent money for his portfolio website, then his art supplies, then the down payment for his car because he needs reliable transportation for gallery meetings. 2 years went by. He was still at home, still getting on his feet. Meanwhile, I got promoted, senior marketing director, 6-figure salary. I was doing well, really well. I bought myself a small condo in Capitol Hill, nothing fancy, but it was mine. When I told my parents, Mom's response was, "Must be nice to have money for yourself. Meanwhile, we're over here struggling." I felt guilty for weeks. I sent them $3,000 and started paying their mortgage directly. Everything fell apart on a Tuesday in October. I'd driven home to surprise him for Dad's birthday, 3 hours from Seattle to the small town where I grew up. I used my key to let myself in, carrying a birthday cake from Dad's favorite bakery and a weekend bag. The house was empty, but I heard voices in the backyard. I walked through the kitchen, past the new refrigerator I'd bought, the renovated countertops I'd paid for, and stopped at the back door. My parents were sitting at the patio table with Ryan and a woman I didn't recognize. There were papers spread out between them. "So when the house is officially transferred to Ryan," the woman was saying, a lawyer, I realized, "you'll still retain living rights for the duration of your lives, but Ryan will be the legal owner." My hand went numb around the cake box. "And Claire has no claim to any of this?" Ryan asked. Mom actually laughed. "God, no. Why would she? This house has been in your father's family for generations. It goes to sons, not daughters." "What about all the money she's been sending? What if she makes a fuss about that?" Dad spoke for the first time. "She's not smart enough to keep records, and even if she did, it was all gifts. She can't prove otherwise." The woman I didn't recognize, Ryan's girlfriend I later learned, chimed in, "I still don't understand why you don't just tell her to stop calling every week. Doesn't it get annoying?" "We need her to keep paying the mortgage until the transfer's complete," Mom said flatly. "After that, she can do whatever she wants. We'll tell her we need space or something. She's so desperate for approval, she'll probably just apologize and leave us alone." I don't remember setting down the cake. I don't remember walking back through the house or getting in my car. But I remember sitting in a Starbucks parking lot 40 minutes later, hands shaking so badly I couldn't hold my phone. I didn't cry. That's the weird part. I thought I would. but I just felt cold, hollow. I sat there for maybe an hour, watching people go in and out with their coffee, living normal lives where their families didn't casually discuss discarding them over estate planning paperwork. My phone buzzed. "Mom, where are you? Thought you were coming this weekend." I stared at that text for a long time. Then I drove back to Seattle, went home, and didn't answer. The calls started the next day. 3 from Mom, 2 from Dad, even 1 from Ryan asking if I was being weird about something. I let them all go to voicemail. By Thursday, Mom left a message. "Claire, you're being incredibly rude. Call us back immediately. Also, the mortgage payment is due Monday, and we haven't seen it come through yet." That's when something shifted. The hollow feeling hardened into something else, something sharp and clear. I called my best friend Jessica. We'd known each other since freshman year of college, and she was the only person who'd ever openly questioned my relationship with my parents. "Jess, I need a lawyer, a really good one." "Oh, thank God," she said. "I have been waiting 6 years for you to say that." Turns out, I had been keeping records, automatic records. Every bank transfer, every Venmo, every payment, all of it cataloged with dates and amounts in my banking app. I had never deleted a single text message from my parents asking for money. I had emails, voicemails, everything. The lawyer Jessica connected me with, a sharp woman named Andrea, who reminded me of a younger Diane Keaton, nearly fell out of her chair when I showed her the spreadsheet I created that weekend. "You've given them over $200,000 in 6 years, she said slowly. I nodded. "And you're still paying their mortgage?" "Yes." "Claire, legally, you're right that gifts are gifts, but this pattern of financial exploitation, especially if we can prove it was obtained through manipulation." She looked up at me. "What exactly do you want to do here?" I thought about my mother's laugh. Why would she have a claim? "I want everything back," I said. "Everything. I paid for, everything I bought, all of it." Andrea explained that I had a few options. The mortgage was the easiest. I was literally the one paying it, so I could simply stop. The house would eventually foreclose unless they could cover the payments themselves. But I had a better idea. See, when I'd started paying their mortgage 3 years ago, I'd called the bank to set up automatic transfers. During that call, the loan officer mentioned that their parents had been trying to refinance, but kept getting rejected due to credit issues. On a whim, because I was still the good daughter back then, I offered to co-sign. I wasn't just paying the mortgage. I was on the mortgage. Andrea made some calls, pulled some records, and there it was. My name right alongside my parents on a loan modification from 2021, which meant I had legal standing to force a sale of the property to recover my investment. "It's aggressive," Andrea warned, "and it's going to blow up your relationship with them." There is no relationship. There never was. Just a transaction. We filed the paperwork on a Monday. My phone started ringing at 6:47 a.m. on Tuesday. "Mom." I declined the call. Then Dad declined. Then Ryan declined. Then a barrage of texts. "Mom, what have you done?" "Mom, the bank just called us about a forced sale." "Dad, call us immediately. This is not acceptable." Ryan, "You're actually insane. They're our parents." I blocked all 3 numbers and went to work. Andrea had also helped me catalog every major item I'd purchased for them. The furnace, the refrigerator, the roof repair, the patio furniture, the new washer and dryer, Dad's hearing aids, even Ryan's car, the down payment, and 12 subsequent monthly payments I'd loaned him, all documented in Venmo with his own notes. "Thanks, sis, I'll pay you back soon. Heart." For items I'd purchased outright in my name, Andrea sent a formal demand for their return. For items they'd purchased with money I'd given them, we outlined a civil suit for repayment of loans based on documented promises to pay me back and just borrowing until we get stable. The hearing aids were particularly damning. I'd bought them directly through the audiologist, insurance in my name to get the better rate. They were legally mine. Andrea sent a letter requiring their return within 14 days. They showed up at my condo on a Saturday morning. I'd been expecting it, honestly. I watched through the door camera as they rang the bell repeatedly. Mom was crying, actual tears, which I'd seen maybe twice in my entire life. Dad looked like he wanted to put his fist through something. I didn't open the door. "Claire," Mom shouted, "please, honey, let's talk about this. There's been a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding. That's what we were calling it. My phone, I'd unblocked them temporarily on Andrea's advice to document everything, started buzzing. "Mom, we love you. We've always loved you. Please don't do this." "Dad, you're destroying this family over money. What kind of person does that?" "Ryan, Mom's having a panic attack because of you. Hope you're happy." I screenshot every message and forwarded them to Andrea. Then I replied to the group chat. "Meet me at Riverside Coffee tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bring Ryan. Come alone or don't come at all." They arrived at 1:45, which would have been funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Eager, like puppies who'd finally learned the treat dispenser wasn't working anymore. I was already there, corner table, Andrea beside me. I'd told them to come alone, but I never said I would be. The look on Mom's face when she saw the lawyer was something I'll never remember. "Claire, what is this?" Dad said, still standing. "Sit down," I said quietly. They sat. Nobody spoke for a long moment, then Mom reached across the table for my hand. I pulled back. "Sweetheart," she started, voice trembling, "I don't know what you think you heard. I heard you planning to transfer the house to Ryan. I heard you call me stupid. I heard you say I was too desperate for approval to ever stand up for myself." I kept my voice level, calm. "You were right about the desperate part, but you were wrong about the rest." Ryan had the decency to look at the table. "We weren't—" "I have a recording," I lied. His mouth snapped shut. I didn't have a recording, but the look of panic that crossed both their faces told me everything I needed to know. They weren't going to deny what they'd said. They were just sorry I'd heard it. "Here's what's going to happen," I continued. "You're going to return everything I purchased that's in my name. The hearing aids, the patio furniture set, I have the receipts. You're going to sign a promissory note for $140,000, which represents the major cash transfers I can document as loans, not gifts." "We can't afford," Mom started. "Then you'll set up a payment plan. Andrea has the paperwork." "And the house?" Dad's voice was hard. "I'm removing myself from the mortgage. You'll need to refinance in your own names, buy out my interest, or sell." I paused. "Giving your credit, I'm guessing you'll sell, but that's not my problem anymore." "You entitled little—" Dad stood up fast enough that his chair scraped. Andrea cleared her throat. "I'd be very careful about what you say next, Mr. Patterson. We are in public, and I'm a witness." He sat back down, jaw clenched. Mom was fully crying now. "How can you do this to us after everything we've done for you?" And there it was, the final perfect encapsulation of our entire relationship. "What exactly have you done for me, Mom?" I asked quietly. I'm genuinely asking. She opened her mouth, closed it, looked at Dad, then Ryan. "We raised you. You were legally obligated to raise me. That's not a favor. That's the baseline requirement of being a parent. We loved you." "No, you didn't." My voice cracked for the first time, but I pushed through. "You loved what I could do for you. There's a difference." Ryan finally spoke up. "Claire, come on. You make way more money than any of us. Why are you being so selfish?" I actually laughed. "I'm being selfish? Ryan, you're 26 years old, living rent-free in a house I've been paying for, driving a car I bought, while planning to inherit everything like you earned it. I looked at him directly. When's the last time you even said thank you? He didn't answer. I stood up. Andrea slid a folder across the table. You have 2 weeks to respond to the formal demand letter. If you don't, we'll proceed with litigation. I looked at each of them one last time. You told me I wasn't family anymore. For once, we actually agree on something. I left them sitting there. They didn't fight it. I think they realized, maybe for the first time, that I actually had a case. Or maybe they just realized I wasn't bluffing. Either way, they signed the promissory note for a fraction of what they actually owed me, returned the items I'd demanded, and listed the house within a month. The house sold fast. Good neighborhood, seller motivated. After the mortgage was paid off and I was reimbursed for my interest, they walked away with maybe $30,000. They moved to a small rental across town. Ryan got a job, an actual job, at a graphic design firm. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that Mom tells people I had a breakdown and cut them off over nothing. Maybe that's easier for her than the truth. Here's the twist, though, the one I didn't see coming. About 3 months after everything settled, I got a Facebook message from a woman named Carol. She'd seen my last name on some legal documents at the county recorder's office. She worked there and took a chance reaching out. Turns out Carol was my dad's first wife. They divorced when I was 2. Your dad took out credit cards in my name during our marriage, ran them up to $50,000, then filed bankruptcy under my name while we were still legally married. I've spent 20 years rebuilding my credit. When I saw your case, I wanted you to know it's not you. This is what they do. We met for coffee. She told me stories that sounded horrifyingly familiar. The constant requests for money, the guilt trips, the way my father always had a crisis that needed solving. She said she'd tried to warn my mother before they got married. Your mom didn't want to hear it, Carol said. I think she believed she was different, special, that he'd change for her. He did change, I said quietly. He found a daughter to exploit instead of a wife. Jessica squeezed my hand. For what it's worth, I think you're incredibly brave. It was the first time anyone from my family's orbit had said something like that to me. It's been 8 months now. I still have moments where I feel guilty, like maybe I overreacted, maybe I should have just talked to them. But then I remember, I didn't do this because they said one mean thing. I did it because they built a relationship with me based entirely on what I could provide, and the moment they thought they didn't need me anymore, I became disposable. That's not love. That's not family. I've started therapy. Turns out, being treated like an ATM by the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally does a number on your self-worth. Who knew? Jessica's been amazing through all of this. She's the one who reminded me that protecting yourself isn't the same as being cruel, that boundaries aren't punishments. I'm done trying to buy love from people who were never selling it in the first place. My real family, the one I'm choosing now, is small. Jessica, a few close colleagues, Andrea, actually, who's become a friend beyond just my lawyer. People who show up for me without a price tag attached. And honestly, I'm sleeping better than I have in years. Sometimes the best revenge isn't hurting someone back. It's just refusing to let them hurt you any more.